Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi guys, very good afternoon. Good afternoon, Naveen sir. How are you?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm fine. आप बताइए कैसा रहा माइकैट का एग्जाम?
Um, MICAT one जैसा ही. What do you
Okay.
think?
I also think MICAT 2 was same. I think a little more difficult because last MICAT 1 में the convergent divergent thinking वाला section was kind of moderate. This time it was moderate to difficult.
करेक्ट, हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल. मैं भी जब देख रही थी तो मुझे अपने क्वेश्चंस भी ऐसे लग रहे थे कि आई हैव टू स्पेंड टाइम, स्पेशली वो जो मैच द कॉलम वाले क्वेश्चंस थे, दे वर वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बट वेरी टाइम टेकिंग. एक क्वेश्चन तो मुझे समझ ही नहीं आया कि उसका कनेक्ट क्या बन रहा है. सो आई अज्यूम कि जब मुझे नहीं आया तो बहुत सारे बच्चों को भी नहीं आया होगा. आई डोंट नो इफ दैट्स द रियलिटी, बट दैट्स हाउ आई फेल्ट दैट इट वाज. बट
The
एनीवे
English
लेट्स.
one, right?
हाँ.
वो
हाउ वाज
इंग्लिश में
क्वांट फॉर यू?
सिनोनिम एंटोनिम रिलेशन था ना, कुछ समथिंग लाइक दैट.
हाँ, कुछ तो कनेक्शंस बनाने थे, वर्ड कनेक्ट्स बनाने थे, तो वो बन ही नहीं रहे थे. मतलब बड़ा ही इंटरेस्टिंग सा था. शिप फिश स्प्लैश वाला एक क्वेश्चन था. तो 4 वर्ड्स
Right.
on one side and 5 or 6 words on the other side, but I could not see any connect. I don't know, children probably are much smarter than I am, I assume, and they would have done it, but मुझे नहीं दिख रहा था. How was
Hmm.
quant, sir? कैसा रहा quant का section?
It was moderate to difficult. So out of 20 questions, I believe only 6 to 7 were like of the level of difficulty that we expect in such exams. The remaining
Okay.
ones were either moderate to difficult or difficult. There was a question on probability which was it had a very confusing language, very difficult. So what I actually found was one of the questions in convergent divergent that encoding decoding question. I think that
Hmm.
question was wrong, and wrong as in none of the options matched for me. And then in quant, I believe there were 2 to 3 questions whose options did not match, or maybe the language was such a way that it was difficult to figure out. कि
That's interesting that
दोनों options थे.
MICAT में. हाँ.
The language quoted, whatever the language was quoted, it can have two meanings, and both the meanings will give us an answer, and both the answers were there in the options.
Oh my God, that's so complicated then. Oh,
Yes.
it's going to be, I think today's test was probably one of the tougher ones that we've had this season.
Yes,
Right.
completely, completely.
All right. So ये तो interesting हो गया है इस बार का MyCat. Hi guys, all of you who have joined in, can you quickly give us your take on MyCat? How was it for you? Was it an easy, medium, moderate, difficult? What kind of a paper was it for you? You can quickly type it out in the chat box so that we also get to know. Let me also quickly start off the PPT so that हम आगे भी चलते रहेंगे. So overall structure एक बार देख लेते हैं. Let us. Cordelia says it was a difficult paper. So देखिए यही बात है कि अगर हमें moderate to difficult लग रहा है, then students will definitely have found it maybe a little bit on the more difficult side than anything else. But let's take a look at the structure of the exam and let's then take it forward section by section. So psychometric test, sir, I don't know if you noticed it. The questions are exactly the same as MyCat 1.
Huh,
Was that?
it was.
है ना? बिल्कुल.
Mm.
I started solving, then I realized यार ये तो these are the questions that were exactly the same as MyCat 1. So I was like, okay, now I don't want to do this also. But yes, all the questions exactly the same as MyCat 1 in the psychometric. So that was something. But anyway, psychometric is something that you cannot really have an assessment for. It's more a test of consistency than anything else. है ना? Because if you
Mm.
look at the question, sir, आप notice करोगे कि same question को एक बार पॉजिटिवली वर्ड किया, एक बार नेगेटिवली वर्ड किया है. तो सिर्फ ये है कि अगर एक बार आप अग्री कर रहे हो तो दूसरी बार जरूर डिसएग्री करोगे, वरना दैट कंसिस्टेंसी विल नॉट कम आउट इन द पेपर और इन योर पर्सनालिटी. एंड आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट प्रोबेबली दे आर लुकिंग फॉर विद द साइकोमेट्रिक टेस्ट. आई होप दिस इज विजिबल. सर ये दिख रहा है ना स्ट्रक्चर
Huh.
वाला?
It is visible. I'm actually on phone, so it's a little minute for me. And
ओके.
psychometric may I believe MyCat psychometric is something which is very exhausting. You have got 25 minutes, 150 questions. So that's like every 10 seconds, 20 seconds you need to answer one. It's very
एग्जैक्टली.
exhausting.
इट
उसके
इज, इट
बाद
इज.
उसके बाद when you have got the descriptive test, um, so if you can let people know the topic,
I
chaos.
will take it to the next
Uh,
page.
so
So, descriptive test was this: chaos breeds creativity was the topic. And of course, you had to answer in favor and against the statement. And then the third one was a young manager can promote chaos in their organization for better organizational efficiency. So, ये तीन topics थे, for and against वाले, where you had to write this. Uh, so how was your descriptive? I will tell mine one in just a minute, but आप अपना बताइए कैसा था?
so in the overall paper, I attempted somewhere around I think 10 to 12 questions only. And in descriptive, I did not want to attempt the first, second, and third. I was like, "Ki fourth pe, let's write something." So
Okay.
I did not write it as the first person. So the story was not about me. The story was about my parents.
Oh, that's very interesting. Okay.
Uh, I decided कि अपने ऊपर नहीं लिखते because everybody will be like, I did this, this is where I went, and so on. So
Okay.
it all started with my parents come from a hilly region around Bangalore. You
Okay.
have got hills around Bangalore, right? So
Right.
uh, my mom makes वो dahi bada, but with a garlic twist. Because I saw
Okay.
that they were selling something with garlics, right?
Yes, yes. There were garlics and there was a weighing machine on the truck.
Yes. So I started from there, and eventually it was a happy ending that they worked hard and they bought. They were farmers initially, and वो हो गया था.
All
I just
right.
wanted to. I just want to see कि, of course, they will not check my B because I have not uploaded my CAT result or anything. So
Yes.
section B जो है वो तब check करते हैं when you have done with your CAT results and everything, and then section C का clear हो जाए cut off, then you
Hmm.
they check your B.
Right,
तो
right.
of course C का तो cut off मेरा बिल्कुल clear नहीं होने वाला. I did not even touch English or
So well,
LRDI में I think
that's how it will be
7 8.
for me also. I haven't touched quant at all, but anyway, ये वाला section तो मैंने अच्छा किया. I think I was able to write all the four essays well.
Mhm.
The picture composition, I wrote a story about a young couple who live in a village, and then they decide to build a life for themselves, a better life for themselves. So they start going to the city and selling, of course, garlic. So and then they realize that they want to do better, and then they decide to open a restaurant near a rock formation which is a tourist spot in the city. So they go
Mhm.
to this hill and create this they make a small restaurant, and in that restaurant they serve all types of food, one of which is very yummy chaat, which is what I thought that plate was. So I said they're very well known for their chaat, and that's how they live happily. And then they decide to open their own restaurant, which is
Uh,
a garden path restaurant. So that's how my garden path came into the picture. So,
nice, nice.
but anyway, that was a fun story. I was just sitting next to some one girl called Pankuri in my exam. And so I asked
Mhm.
her, what did you write? So she told me she wrote a love story, but with a
Oh,
sad ending. That
that is
two
also
people
something new.
meet. Yeah, I found that very interesting that there's a love story, but it's a love story which has a sad ending that they'd never meet each other again. And the boy is just cooking in a kitchen and he's sad. And so whatever.
Why is he sad? Because he has to cook or because he's single now?
No, because he's single now. So his solace
Okay.
is the cooking. But anyway,
Okay.
that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
The
So one interesting thing happened. Not interesting. It was more like a funny thing. So what I did was I quickly wrote down the fourth one, the picture composition, and I was done in within 5 to 7 minutes. It all comes down to what's your speed, your typing speed. So our typing
Right.
speed is obviously better than most of the kids because we do a lot of content work. So once I was done with it, I did not want to write anything more. So I folded my hands and I, closed my eyes and I instantly fell asleep. You know,
Seriously.
huh? You know what? The typing of each student, it felt like it was raining and it was raining very low. So it felt like raindrops were there. Okay. The rain was falling and it was so soothing. I fell asleep very soon, and then the invigilator came and he tugged me like after 20 minutes ki sir दूसरा section हो गया इसको तो कर लो.
Oh, I quite like that. Acha, I because I wrote all the four essays, so therefore I
Mhm.
did not get time to do anything else other than type. Also, my typing is a little slow. I
Mhm.
Even though I make a lot of content, but I am a very slow typist. So I took my time, type, but the essays went off well. I actually wrote the essays in point format. So point one, two, three, point one, two, three, then a intro conclusion. That's how I generally write these. So
Mhm.
it went off well. The young managers can promote chaos in their organization. I think that was my best segment where I really brought in examples and all also. So that is how we are supposed to be writing also. If you're
True.
writing an essay, start with an introduction, then give a all your points. With a point, write an explanation, write some example. That's how you can. I mean, these guys can kind of fill it up. So that makes a better essay. So that's what we did anyway. That was. Chaos breeds creativity, the descriptive test. Um, let's
In this
let's
section,
go.
I would like to add one thing in case if anyone has this issue. So uh, uh, what couple of students, girls who were facing right after the exam, one of them said that she was not very confident about the four answers that she wrote in descriptive because she felt that she had very less time and she continued with it. But she was able to manage. I mean, she was able to write all the entire answer, all the answers. The friend of hers, she was more like I thought for like initial 5-7 minutes. I built premise and everything, and then I started writing, but I couldn't complete my picture composition. So she said that she fell very short of 300 words.
Hmm.
She said that it must be around 100, So
Oh,
I think the first girl is at a better position than the second one,
definitely,
even
definitely.
though
So
it
you have
has
to
not
be.
to be.
Huh.
Sorry.
Some thoughts have to be there. So at least it
Yes,
has to be penned down. That whatever you've written, you should have it there. बाकी incomplete होने से तो definitely better है.
better,
आप
right?
complete करो, you finish your thoughts and then you carry on with the next question. So that's very
True,
important.
true, true.
Completion of that essay. I think one thing is there, so generally when we write for other exams or when we're talking about analytical writing in GD interview process also, we say that you create a sketch. But here, what I've noticed in MyCat is there isn't enough time to create a sketch in your mind. You just
Mhm.
have adequate time to start writing and then just finish writing. So
Yes.
here you should not get into that कि मैं planning करूंगी और फिर लिखूंगी. अगर वो करने लगे तो फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगी. सो यू जस्ट हैव टू गेट इनटू.
Unless and until this typing speed is not around 70-80 WPM, तब तक
यस
तो
यस.
सेंस ही नहीं बनता है सोचने का. Just start
हाँ.
writing.
Exactly. Just start and then just type. In fact, what I do is and this is something that I felt helps. Just write down the points and then write the introduction and conclusion. It's faster
Mhm.
that way, and you're able to actually kind of collate your thoughts in a faster and better fashion.
True.
So that is something that that's interesting. I've got
Try
somebody
to.
who was in the same room with me. Yeah, hi, Tortoise Talks. Yes, I was in Omak City, Lucknow today too. Absolutely. So yeah. All right. So चलिए आगे वाले sections भी एक बार देख लेते हैं फटाफट से.
बिल्कुल.
All
Sure.
right. So this is divergent and convergent thinking. So your thoughts? We had good number of very interesting questions.
Mm.
Last
So
time
out
से
of these, sorry.
sorry आप बोलिए सर आप बोलिए sorry my bad.
नहीं मैं आप कुछ बोला था लास्ट टाइम से मैं तो क्वेश्चंस के बारे में बात
मैं
कर रहा
ये
था.
कह रही थी कि लास्ट टाइम से इस टाइम में थोड़ा मुझे जो डिफरेंस लगा कि लास्ट टाइम कुछ पैरा बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस थे जिसमें से यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द इन्फरेंसेस. वो इस
Yeah.
टाइम पे मुझे नहीं दिखे. तो
Right. There
सो
was
दैट
none.
वाज वन थिंग दैट वाज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम लास्ट माई कैट 1 टू माई कैट
Hmm.
2. वो मुझे एक चीज डिफर करी. बाकी तो मुझे आई थिंक लगता है
Hmm.
कि मोर और लेस सेम टाइप के क्वेश्चंस थे. नंबर्स ऑफ कोर्स शायद कुछ बढ़े या घटे होंगे.
So basically, in this, the number series, out of two questions, one question I did not get the answer. I mean, I did not spend enough time, most likely. So it said, that it was 1, 7, and then it was
36,
36 or
125,
64.
254,
हाँ,
243,
तो
64 एंड 1.
ये मेरे
ये
से
चीज
नहीं
हुई.
हुआ. हाँ, ये मेरे से नहीं हुआ.
तो इसमें
And
इनकरेक्ट
then
नंबर खोजने को बोला था उन्होंने.
right.
हाँ.
So
हाँ.
I marked 7, but I'm not sure because I did not get any pattern. I was able to see there was, there was nothing about 7 ka power say anything of that sort. So मैंने वो logic लगा दिया. And directions ka there was one question and I did not get the answer correct. I don't know if I
That's
drew the
interesting.
figure wrong. I was getting under root 52 and none of the options was under root 52. So I had to mark under root 55. उसके
Okay,
आसपास
that's
कोई
very
value थी
interesting.
नहीं.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not sure if people will let us know in the comment that if I made the mistake or in drawing the figure because I verified it one more time. मेरे हर बार under root 52 आया. So don't know.
Guys, any of you who have solved this one and have any takes on the direction sense question? So ये वो वाला क्वेश्चन था जिसमें एक पोल है और राइट वेस्ट जाएंगे तो कुछ डिग्री ऑफ वो आएगा. ये वो वाला
नहीं नहीं
क्वेश्चन था.
वो तो मैथ्स में था.
अच्छा, वो
That was in.
क्वांट में था. ओके.
हाँ, in this there
ओके.
were positions A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and G was midpoint between E and F. It was 16 meters north south. The direction was there.
Okay, so Nihal is saying that he got root 52 as well, but didn't mark the answer. Tortoise Talks also says that he was also getting root 52.
चलो तो यानी क्वेश्चन में गड़बड़ी है. So I marked root 55.
तो बच्चों ने तो सब देखिए रूट 52 दिया है, तो आई थिंक जब आपका आंसर भी वही और इनका भी है तो आई अज्यूम कि यही होगा.
गड़बड़ था. मतलब उस क्वेश्चन में गड़बड़ था. वेस्टेज ऑफ टाइम बिकॉज आई वाज लाइक आई वाज प्रिपेयर्ड दैट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू टच इंग्लिश. सो आई गिव सफिशिएंट टाइम टू वेरीफाई और मैं केवल अल्टरनेट क्वेश्चंस 2 क्वेश्चन छोड़कर ऐसे ही केवल अटेम्प्ट कर रहा था. आई वाज सॉल्विंग ऑलमोस्ट ऑल. तो अदरवाइज उसके अलावा आई डोंट फाइंड कि इट वाज डिफिकल्ट वन. द रीजनिंग अरेंजमेंट जो था, रीजनिंग अरेंजमेंट, देयर वर 3 questions with 3 sets based, not exactly set, it was one question each. Usme se there was a sitting arrangement with 6 people. So it was little tricky. If somebody would have stuck with the um, I think it was name of the people and the mobile phone, I think. Yeah, mobile phone tha. Oppo, Reno, वगैरह था. So there were 2 sitting arrangement figures that we are supposed to draw and then overlap them. Then only we will get one particular scenario. Otherwise, वो मुश्किल था. मतलब it wasn't something that somebody can finish in 3, 4, 5 minutes वाला types. It was
अच्छा,
time
मैंने
consuming.
तो उसको टच भी नहीं किया सर, क्योंकि मुझे लगा कि इसका कोई लॉजिक नहीं. मैं इतना टाइम लगाऊंगी तो मैं आई वांटेड टू डू ऑल द वर्बल क्वेश्चंस, सो आई डिड नॉट इवन लुक एट इट. आई न्यू अरेंजमेंट, नवीन सर forgot.
Similar type was there where there were 6 floors वाला question था. That was also not straightforward, not at all.
ओके ओके. ब्लड रिलेशन
Encoding
के
decoding.
क्वेश्चंस भी तो थे सर. मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक 2 ब्लड रिलेशन के क्वेश्चंस थे, फैमिली रिलेशंस कुछ कुछ.
हाँ, so one was वो उसके blood relations के I think there were 3 questions, no?
अच्छा, I saw 2, one right in the beginning and one in the middle. I saw 2 questions that were there. नहीं सर, आपने भी ब्लड रिलेशंस के 2 ही लिखवाए हैं.
नहीं 3 थे. अभी मेरे को जस्ट याद आया. एक तो था अच्छा नहीं 2 ही थे. They both were symbol based.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली, बोथ वर सिंबल
there were
बेस्ड.
2
टाइम लग रहा था. जो फर्स्ट वाला था उसमें समवन इज द फादर ऑफ समथिंग एंड समवन इज द डॉटर ऑफ
father of
समथिंग.
mother, mother's father.
हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. हाँ,
Mother's father
मदर्स
एक का आंसर
फादर.
था.
एग्जैक्टली. हाँ
And
हाँ,
second
मदर्स
वाले का आंसर
फादर.
था the last option, I believe, if the options were same for all. So it was the
अच्छा वो
last option.
अच्छा वो वाला मैंने नहीं किया. ये मदर्स फादर वाला तो मैंने कर लिया था बिकॉज आई वाज एबल टू ड्रॉ दैट एंड क्रिएट दिस आंसर. सो हाँ, ये बन गया था.
Yes, Rathore, you are correct. Mother's father was one of the answers for.
हाँ हाँ, एब्सोल्युटली, मदर्स फादर वाज वन ऑफ द आंसर्स.
Encoding decoding was uh, I wouldn't say very straightforward, but yes, it was doable. It all
एक
comes
वो था
down to how
शोएब
much
इज
someone
इक्वल
is
टू
practicing.
SHOEB इज इक्वल टू FLS SIW, लूसिड इज
Hmm.
इक्वल टू HYGIMP. ऐसा वाला भी तो एक क्वेश्चन था सर. ये कोडिंग का
हाँ
ही तो
हाँ
था
हाँ.
ना. हाँ,
This
फिर
question took a lot of
ROPEC.
time.
हाँ, ROPEC क्या होगा, दैट वाज द क्वेश्चन. हाँ, सो
आप तो
दैट
लिख कर
वाज.
लाए हो पूरी तरह से. लखनऊ में आपका दबदबा पूरा है.
सर अब क्या करेंगे? जो याद आ जाता है वो लिख लेते हैं।
बढ़िया।
फिर एक क्वेश्चन जो कोडिंग का था वो था EQUAT इज इक्वल टू GOWCR और बोर्ड इज इक्वल टू ZQCPB आई थिंक, और
हाँ
कॉज
तो
का वो बताना था। हाँ
हाँ, वन ऑफ दिस सीरीज वाज +4 -4 वाला टाइप्स, एक का था +5 +4 +3 करके था. These are the two types that I can recall.
हाँ ओके
So I believe that from coding decoding, out of 5 questions, I think 4 तो बिल्कुल बन सकते थे. Match the following में out of 4, I think couple of them were straightforward because you only had to choose the correct match the following from one of the cases. एक पता
यस,
कर लोगे तो only one of the options will match.
हाँ वो
Blood
जैसे
relation, both
इलेटेड
were.
डिस्पॉन्डेंट वाला था, वो बहुत आराम से
Hmm,
कर सकते थे मैच द
true.
फॉलोइंग वाला, दैट वाज अ वेरी इजी वन। बल्कि दोनों एनालॉजी बेस्ड जो मैच द फॉलोइंग्स थे सर वो बहुत डुएबल थे। बाकी जो
Hmm,
दोनों जिसमें पेयर क्रिएशन था, दोज वर
hmm,
वेरी ट्रिकी बिकॉज कॉलम 1 में 4 वर्ड्स हैं, कॉलम 2 में 8 वर्ड्स हैं, आपको बताना है कौन से कॉलम 2 के वर्ड्स कॉलम 1 के साथ सेट बनाएंगे। तो
true.
वो करने में टाइम लग रहा था। मतलब पहले वाला जो क्वेश्चन था उसमें गोल, टीम, डे और डेज दिया था कॉलम 1 में, और कॉलम 2 में आउटिंग, लाइट, बिल्डिंग, फील्ड, ड्रीम, विजन, स्पॉट और इवेंट था। तो एक तो इसमें
Hmm,
8 ऑप्शन बन रहे हैं और वो बहुत इजीली दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहे थे। तो सो देयरफॉर आई फेल्ट वो दो एनालॉजी वाले मैथ्स बहुत आराम से हो सकते थे, ये दोनों बड़े मुश्किल थे। इनफैक्ट
right.
मैंने ये दोनों ही छोड़ दिए थे बिकॉज मुझे नहीं दिख रहा था। ऑल्सो आई वॉज ट्राइंग टू थिंक ऑफ द क्वेश्चन एंड रिमेम्बर देम, तो मेरे से नहीं बना। सो आई जस्ट काइंड ऑफ
Hmm,
लेफ्ट इट ऑल्सो कि ये तो मैं नहीं कर रही। सर पिक्चर
hmm.
कॉम्पोजिशन वाले, अरे पिक्चर वाले आपने किए थे? ये दो,
Non-verbal, हाँ, they both were doable.
ओके। सो दोज आई डिड नॉट इवन टच बिकॉज आई एम वेरी स्केर्ड ऑफ दोज क्वेश्चंस, तो मैं तो छूती भी नहीं हूँ।
So out of the total number of questions in this particular section का first part, I think is coding decoding में 5 में से 4 were doable. Match the
ओके, मैं
following
लिख
में
रही
4 में
हूँ।
से, हाँ,
हाँ
2 were doable. Reasoning and arrangement में से at least 1 was doable. Blood relations, both were doable. Number series, 1 was doable. Non-verbal, both were doable. Directions, of course, the answer did not match, so a lot of the students may have left marking it. So इसको रहने देते हैं. And one was miscellaneous.
सर
And
एक डिडक्शन
miscellaneous,
का भी तो क्वेश्चन था, एक सिलोजिज्म वाला क्वेश्चन भी तो था।
that was miscellaneous, right? Syllogism.
हाँ, so that
Syllogism
is
was
there.
doable.
हाँ सिलोजिज्म वाज डुएबल, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। उसका आंसर फोर्थ वाला ऑप्शन होना था,
हाँ,
समथिंग इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी वाला, सो दैट वाज अ डुएबल क्वेश्चन, यस।
right. So out of 20 questions, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So anything between 10 to 13 was
हाँ,
doable.
डिपेंडिंग ऑन हाउ वेल यू परफॉर्म, सो दैट
Yes.
दैट
10 तो हो जाने चाहिए थे. And I think nobody should give more than 25 minutes to 30 minutes in this.
बिल्कुल आई
Selective
थिंक।
होना था बस.
ऑलराइट, कितना टाइम सर बताइए? 25 मिनट्स, आई थिंक दैट वाज मोर देन इनफ।
हाँ, 25 to 30 minutes is, I think, was good enough time for this.
दैट वाज
Because
गुड
this
इनफ।
is something a lot of students were discussing, that they did not expect this to be lengthy. People who did not write the previous MICAT or who were attempting this for the first time, उनके लिए ये बहुत shocking था. They were most likely, पता नहीं, शायद उन्होंने, they did not solve the previous year papers. They did not go through any of the analysis. So maybe they were thinking कि MICAT का easy आता है पेपर, नहीं आता.
नहीं, माइकैट का सर इजी नहीं होता है। अगर हमारे मॉक्स भी देखो सर, तो आर मॉक्स आर आल्सो इक्वली चैलेंजिंग, क्योंकि
Yes.
हम तो एग्जैक्ट पेपर पैटर्न पे बना रहे होते हैं। माइकैट 1 के पैटर्न पे हमने जितने भी मॉक्स दिए हैं बहुत
True.
चैलेंजिंग थे। तो इफ समबडी हैज नॉट डन एनीथिंग बट जस्ट रिटन द मॉक्स आल्सो, उन्हें मालूम होता है कि ये लेवल है। माइकैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ केक वॉक फॉर एनीवन, सो दैट थॉट शुड नॉट हैव बीन देयर। बट एनीवे, चलिए नेक्स्ट
Raghav,
सेक्शन पे चलते हैं।
I mean, I did not meet anyone. Most likely, uh,
So Raghav is
you
saying
may
that
have, you saw me.
he might
मैं
have seen you there, sir.
मैं एग्जाम सेंटर पे किसी से वो नजर नहीं मिला था.
सर आप सेलिब्रिटी हैं, आपको पहचानते हैं लोग। ऑलराइट, आ
वर्बल आप
जाते हैं
बता दीजिए.
वर्बल एबिलिटी सेक्शन पे। And now verbal ability, guys, was I thought it was a moderate to difficult paper. It was not an easy paper uh, as far as I'm concerned. I'll tell you my reasons as we go along also. So if you look at the reading comprehension, दो passages आए थे. एक में there were 5 questions. The one which had McDonald something, McDonald or McFadden something, and then there was a passage, and there were 5 questions. One of the question was an inference question. Then there were two which you had to identify if they were in line with the author's thought, and then there was one vocabulary question, and one was undermining the assumption, or one which does not undermine the assumption. So these 5 questions, out of this, three you could have done very easily. The second passage, however, had 2 questions. एक inference, not an inference, और दूसरा एक vocabulary था जो दोनों ही करे जा सकते थे. तो out of 7 questions in RC, I feel that I could have done 5, but I'll say that most of you would have done anything between 4 and 5. So that would be my difficulty level as I saw it. Now, if you look at sentence placement, now this has happened in MyCat 1 also. Sentence placement आया था, cat वाले type का ही आया था. That means you had a sentence, and that sentence had to be placed in one of the blanks, very much like cat. Now, this question was a doable question. It was very visible. दो places थी, blank 1 or blank 4 जहां पे you could have placed it, and there was no other place जहां पे ये place किया जा सकता था. सर, आपने किया था ये question? अच्छा, आपने
नहीं,
बिल्कुल
आई
टच
डिड
ही
नॉट
नहीं
इवन गो थ्रू वर्बल एबिलिटी. मैं क्लिक भी नहीं करा एक बार भी. मैंने कहा
अच्छा,
देखूंगा,
ठीक.
फिर मन करेगा एक आध सॉल्व करने का. लेट्स नॉट डू इट. लेट
हाँ, ठीक
स्टूडेंट्स
ठीक
बी
ठीक.
द विनर.
Okay. All right. So that was the sentence placement was okay. It was doable. I felt that ये एक ऐसा question था जो हम कर सकते थे. So definitely. Now, if you look at the fillers, now the fillers, the first one which was AI वाला क्वेश्चन जो था जिसमें 8 ऑप्शंस थे, मेरे को लगा ये टफ था इसको, क्योंकि जब हम when I was solving it, I did not find it easy to do. I took a lot of time in solving this question. So मेरे को लगता है ये difficult था. So I'm going to just cross this one out, and I'll go to the next one also. The second filler, which was the grammar based filler, जहाँ पे Lewis Hamilton की बात की थी, and that Budapest में F1 will come, that one, that was a doable question. So between the two fillers here, which I don't know why we marked it this way, but anyway, one was definitely a doable question. The odd sentence question, I did not really think it was very easy, but nor was it extremely difficult. So doable, yes. If we go to the next one, which was another filler, which had 4 blanks in, excuse me, in the realm of leadership, emotions can often be what waters. Now this was doable, because I'll tell you why. Because with waters you could have only placed uncharted. So the minute you knew uncharted was the option, then you could have filled this up. So one filler was very doable. I'm going to just put a tick here. The next one, so I don't know why we've marked it this way. Anyway, I'll come to the next one. So this filler was very doable. Then the second RC I've already talked about. Then there was this sentence, the word replacement question. Okay, the word replacement, I think we've mistaken it. Word replacement is there. So there was a sentence given, उसमें से 3-4 words को bold face किया था, and you had to identify what words to replace this with. Now this was a question that we did not have in MyCat 1. So that was a new question that you had, the word replacement. So this was a new one. If you look at the sentence, it was amidst the discordance of the bustling city, the bellicose politician delivered a bombastic speech attempting to ameliorate the public's conscience. So the words that you had to identify or replace were discordance and bellicose and bombastic and ameliorate. I think these were the ones, and it was quite solvable. So therefore, word replacement doable. Okay. If you look at the para jumble, now the para jumble was one question that I did not do, because I felt it was lengthy. So therefore I just left this one. Okay. The summary again was difficult. I'll tell you why the summary was difficult. The sentence was easy, but there were 8 options. Now, 8 options में से elimination में बहुत time लग रहा था. So I did not. Therefore, I felt that that was a question that you should have skipped and not wasted a lot of time on. 4 line का paragraph है, but 8 line पढ़ के eliminate करना पड़ेगा, which was difficult. So therefore, I felt that summary was a difficult question. This question again, the essence of sentence was a nice one. So they gave a paragraph and one of the sentences was underlined. Now that sentence, the one that was underlined, uh, you had to find the essence of that sentence. So in effect, you were trying to identify what the meaning of that sentence was. Now this was a question that you could have done. Okay. Then the next question was a filler again, where it was there is more anticipated than the sequel. So the movie sequels. Now this one was tough because the options were very tight, and therefore this filler was a tough filler. Okay. Then you had one word substitution question where you had to substitute in that Harvard and Yale question. So the question was Harvard and Yale have produced a large number of professionals. So you have to spot a large number का replacement क्या होगा, profusion, abundance, excess या cornucopia. And but again the options were tight. So but still doable. Okay, so doable. The idiom grid was a question that I did not touch. Interestingly, why? Because I did not have the time. My paper had finished. So even though generally the idiom grids are doable, I did not do it. So I'll not leave that. There was one more filler there which was doable and which I had done also. So idiom grid, I'm going to say not doable, but fillers, yes. The 3 fillers you could have done. So approximately if you say 4 and 1 5 and 1 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, approximately 12 questions were doable. If somebody has done between 10 to 11 questions, then they have done a good job here. Okay, so that was what my take on the verbal ability section is. If anyone else, okay, so Sahil says, sir, देखिए odd one out was doable. Okay, ठीक है. मैंने भी यही
Sahil
लिखा
has
है.
a query. He left GK. He did not attempt any. So Sahil,
Oh,
if you go to MICA ka official website, they have listed that there are going to be sectional cutoffs for each subsection. So in section C, which was all of this that we are discussing, uh, the this was section C, right? Yeah. In
हाँ
section
सर,
C,
देखो.
there are 4 subsections, right? So each subsection is going to have a cutoff.
Cut off. Yes,
So
yes,
once you
yes.
clear section C ka cutoff, then your section B is going to be evaluated. And in case if anyone has missed out so answering any of the questions in your psychometric, that is also a big issue. It was written very boldly twice that you have to answer every question in psychometric. It's not like
Exactly.
time nahi tha and you missed last ke 5. That
Hmm.
is a big negative there. ठीक है?
MICAT is a very tricky test, sir. ऐसा नहीं है, it's not an easy test. It's a very tricky test,
No,
and
it's not.
there's a challenge for time. You're always challenged for time. It is
Yes.
even the psychometric. If you read and mark, पता ही नहीं चलता टाइम कहाँ चला गया है. And like you
True.
said, 10 seconds होते हैं शायद हर sentence को mark करने के लिए.
Just
150
10 seconds.
क्वेश्चन इन 25 मिनट्स 10 seconds ही हैं. रियलिटी यही है.
So you do not get enough time to think is what did I mark? I mean, what option did I mark for a question very similar to this 5 minutes ago? आपके पास टाइम ही नहीं
हाँ,
होता सोचने
एग्जैक्टली.
के लिए.
नहीं नहीं, आप नहीं सोच सकते हो कि रिवर्स में जो आंसर चल रहा होगा वो कैसे चलेगा.
Hmm.
ऑलराइट सर, नेक्स्ट वाले सेक्शन पे चलते हैं. क्यूएडीआई. ओके सर, एक और क्वेश्चन
Yashanjali
है.
asked, what if overall total is good but Quant says 0 attempts? Yashanjali, sorry, no.
वेरी टाइट. नॉट
Subsection cutoff clear
चाहिए.
karna must hai. It's
हाँ.
like that. Section wise also you have to clear it. Overall also you need to clear it.
सर
Raghav,
राघव.
are you asking about the psychometric or in general? If you're asking about psychometric, there was no option. I mean, you shouldn't have left any question. But if you're talking about in general, it's about solving the easiest ones. So the thing that we're discussing, that you should be able to solve 10 to 12 questions or 10, 11 questions, that is something that you should target at. And whatever we are saying that this was doable, we're going to reduce the cutoff of each section by 10 or 20%. So if we say that हमें लगता है कि अगर 12 doable थे, so I think 9 questions is a very good cutoff.
True. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. And anyway, sir, any exam where there is negative marking, so you must always make sure that the easiest questions have to be attempted, because we are also looking at making cutoffs in all the sections. तो ये सब चीजें हमें ध्यान रखनी ही रखनी है.
Negative or zero का होगा तो most likely that student may have I mean he may have cleared the cutoffs. Cutoff is zero होगा, या फिर unless and until I am not talking to this, you are the first person to do it and you tell me, तब तक I am not going to rely on a third person saying कि अबे negative लेते हो जाता है. नहीं, ये तो नहीं होता. They have got a very clear cutoff, 6.75, 7, इतना cutoff जाता है, right?
Exactly. सर क्वांट पे आ जाते हैं.
हाँ जी.
Now, quant was one section, guys, that I did look through. So interestingly, मैं देख लेती हूँ एक बार, तो 2-3 questions मैंने देखे, फिर मैंने realize कि ये मुझसे नहीं होंगे, फिर मैं वापस चली गई.
Vrinda, 18 to 20, are you considering all the 4 sections? I think that's little low, because if I compare you with other kids, somebody who's not good at verbal, or somebody who's not good at quant, or somebody who may have struggled with the first section, जीके में तो यार 4 नंबर 5 नंबर तो लेकर ही आएगा बंदा.
Exactly.
Right. So
मैंने
out of
MICAT 1 में जीके किया था, and I had got 5 questions right. जबकि मैं कुछ पढ़ती भी नहीं हूँ, मैं बहुत मतलब सिर्फ न्यूज़पेपर वैसे पढ़ती हूँ for pulling out RCs, but other than that I don't read the newspaper also. But I was able to solve 5 questions, and they were doable questions. This time though I didn't look at the GK questions only, but last time I had seen, and there were questions that were doable. आराम से हो रहे थे.
I looked at GK questions. I think except for 2-3 questions, all were like, अगर आप न्यूज़ देखते हो तो आपने सुना होगा, you would know about it. So there was one question about G7 summit, which I think a lot of you would not know. Then there was one question about which of the following is false. NATO वगैरह के बारे में given था. So that may be something you may not be aware of in intrinsic details, that each organization, what are their purpose. And then there was one question which was match the following, which I think was easier. It was the name of athletes, and I think the brands that they the brands that they're related to. So I think एक पकड़ लोगे ना तो you will be able to solve it. So I think 3 question या 4 question at most were there, which may not be an easy one, but I think up to 4 तो doable था out of 8 questions of GK. 8 attempts in English, Vishwardhan, I believe it should be good, right, ma'am?
हाँ sir, बिल्कुल, I think so.
कि बच्चे 12 अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं, 13 अटेम्प्ट कर रहे हैं, और उसमें से 9 या 10 सही हो रहे हैं. Negative of 0.25 will reduce it by further 1 marks. So I think 8 is a good score.
Yes.
अच्छा नहीं, he says 8 attempt. 8 attempt में सही कितने हैं भाई?
8 attempt में कितने सही? अगर 8 questions right हैं तब तो ठीक है, कितने wrong है ये भी देख लो. And so total attempts देख करके फिर पता चल सकता है. Otherwise अगर if you getting let's say 8 marks तो सही है.
I think it should not be like अगर 8 में से, even if 7 is correct, I think that is kind of fine. I will not be very sure. पर अगर 6 सही है out of 8, तब तो नहीं है, बहुत कम है वो.
Doubtful हो जाएगा. Yes.
True.
Yeah, Shraddhan, also remember MICAT is all about English.
Yeah, it's all about English. बहुत पढ़ना पड़ता.
It is Mudra Institute of Communication, no? It's not. So of course, the test is so skewed towards verbal. If you look at it, मानती हूँ कि English quant आता है, but skewed है verbal की तरफ, and therefore your verbal has to be. I feel it has to be much better than anything else. Anyway, sir, आइए एक बार quant भी देख लेते हैं फटाफट से. Let's quickly.
हाँ, quant देख लेते हैं. So There were 7 to 8 questions on in arithmetic, out of which we had a couple of questions on time and work. Out of those two, only one was doable, ma'am. There was a question on TSD, which was kind of okayish. Then we had a question on averages, which was also okay-ish. There were questions on ratio का था. So basically, these 8 questions they include DI as well.
Oh.
हाँ, तो एक्चुअली वो 9 होगा और ज्योमेट्री का 3 होना चाहिए मैम.
अच्छा ठीक है सर, मैं यहाँ
हाँ,
9 कर देती हूँ, ज्योमेट्री में 3
ज्योमेट्री
कर
का
देती
3. So the
हूँ.
DI part was calculative, but thankfully you have the calculator. So I think वो किया जा सकता था. ठीक है. So out of 9 questions, I think ma'am 6 questions were doable.
ओके
ठीक है. In
सर,
geometry we had two.
यशवर्धन is- हाँ, ये रेशियो
Yes.
32 लीटर है क्या, बता दीजिए सर एक बार.
Ratio 32 liter. Are you talking about replacement wala question? Because नहीं, I left it. I did not attempt it. बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन मैंने छोड़ दिए. मतलब I read the question. I figured out what was the level of difficulty. Was there only one way to solve it, or where there were alternate approaches? There were very few questions which had alternate approaches. तो मेरे को वो लग रहा था कि पेपर डिफिकल्ट है. सो सिंस अरिथमेटिक इज द इजीएस्ट ऑफ ऑल दीज सेक्शंस, आई थिंक 9 में से 6 वेर ओनली डूएबल. ठीक है. ज्योमेट्री 3 क्वेश्चंस वे देयर. 2 वेर फिगर बेस्ड, एज इन यू हैव टू ड्रॉ फिगर. 1 वाज मेंसुरेशन बेस्ड. सो द mensuration based was a very lengthy question. Okay. And you had to figure out ratio in that. The geometry one triangle question was there, which was a right angle triangle 12 16 12 16 20 ka triplet tha wo. So that was the only question which I think was doable. So only one in geometry. In modern maths, there were 2 questions on permutation and combination. One was a question on probability. The probability question was difficult and the language was tricky. No idea what to, what the question was trying to say. Was it conditional probability? मेरे को वो भी डर लग रहा था कि why would MICAT give us Bayes theorem, because the way it was worded. And PNC में से 2 में से one question was about a passcode of 3 letters and 3 digits. So that was doable. There was one more question on probability. I am not able to recall. If anybody can remember that, help me out here. Okay. Number system. Divisibility का था one question that was doable.
सर मॉडर्न मैथ में एक ही क्वेश्चन डुएबल था ना फिर.
हाँ, एक ही है, वो एक पीएनसी का. दूसरा वाला I don't remember, so obviously it was not something जो मैंने पढ़ के skip किया होगा definitely. Number system, there was one question on multiples, last digit being 5, multiple of 45, multiple of 90. That one was doable. And then there were 2 more questions about वो number is pattern का है वगैरह वगैरह. I don't think वो doable था. So only one question.
Okay.
In algebra, we had one. मेरे को याद ही नहीं आ रहा algebra का क्या था question का language. Anyone who can help me out here in algebra wala? Unfortunately, I couldn't write. Stats का एक question था that was about standard deviation, which was again not doable if you guys have no idea how standard deviations work if you change the values. So, ma'am, I think maths में 8 to 9 questions, 9 questions at most, I think is doable. Algebra अगर याद आ जाएगा, most likely I will recall that what kind of question was it?
Sir,
Was it doable or
Muskan
not?
is asking what is the answer for the passcode, if you remember the answer to the passcode question.
Passcode में the letters were allowed to repeat, so it was 26, 26, 26. The digits were not allowed to repeat. So they had to be distinct. So that was 10 into 9 into 8. And then it was a 6 because you can make the arrangement. So 3 factorial. So 6 was there.
So I think
SICI ka
Muskan,
question was there for money borrowed, which was again a difficult one. I'll definitely not, suggest Nihal that was doable. It felt easy. The language was easy. Calculation
Yashvardhan
wise, I
says,
didn't find it.
यशवर्धन is saying 32,000 था शायद.
32,000 was one of the options. I was getting close to 30,000 ish. So the next highest value was 50,000. Okay. Vidya, I don't think it is supposed to be 8,000 because 8,000 was too low, right? Then out of 8,000 is a 12%, and then 20 rupees extra is not going to be 12%. So it had to be a higher principal. So 8,000 was too low. Capital and lowercase, both options were there, right? So it was basically 12 into 26 into 26 into 26 into 10 into 9 into 8. ये वाला आंसर था.
हाँ, तो फिर तो मुस्कान का भी सही ही हो गया ऐसा.
हाँ.
All right.
Right, Muskan, you are correct. That was the answer.
All right. So I think so 9 is
Right,
the question
Yashwardhan.
that we're saying that are doable. Okay, wonderful.
So I think these 9 were doable. Stats, I think a lot of students may have, I mean, should have left it because it was standard deviation question. I also left it because the change in the values were not, they were in an AP, but they did not make sense. Though I marked the answer as 18, as I believe. Standard deviation will change by 18. Not sure.
Okay. So ये
Algebra ka, if
3
anybody can help me out here. Algebra wala question kya tha?
Guys, if you can give us the algebra question, I'll write it down, but give it.
Yeah, Vidhi, the answer was 24 is to 32, which is 3 is to 4 for geometry ka triplet wala question. You are correct. Trigonometry ka answer. Trigonometry ka was root 3h. I think 148 was the answer. 148.
I started.
Angle of elevation 148.
Okay, sir.
148. Correct. 148 was the 149 nahi tha. 148 tha if anyone was getting 149. Right, Nikhil? So let's come to this. See, we are talking about the expected number of attempts, Nikhil. We are not talking about ये cutoff होगा. Cutoff अब हम discuss करेंगे once we have an idea what is going to be कि इतना कर सकता था बच्चा उसको अगर हम 40-45 minutes भी दे दें. Right now we can see that इससे ज़्यादा we can't go ahead. हाँ विधि भाई, it was a triplet, no? 3:4:5 का triplet था. उसका answer was 24:32, which will result in 3:4. ठीक है. So 9 questions. अब इसमें से मैम वही करते हैं कि I think if there are 9 correct, 10 attempts, and let's say कि उसमें we can take it to 80% accuracy. So let's come down to I think 6.5 to 6.75 cutoff QADI.
Yes.
उसमें आते हैं
वर्बल
कन्वर्जेंट
में.
डाइवर्जेंट वर्बल
चलिए
में.
एक बार यहीं से स्टार्ट करते हैं. कन्वर्जेंट डाइवर्जेंट से स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं. So we said between 10 to 13 were doable approximately.
तो इसमें आई थिंक मैम द कट ऑफ इज गोइंग टू बी इसमें एक्यूरेसी इज गोइंग टू बी लो. आइदर एक्यूरेसी इज गोइंग टू बी लो और अटेम्प्ट इज गोइंग टू बी लो.
Because time तो उतना ही है.
हाँ, टाइम उतना ही. So I don't think it's going to be, it should not be less than 6.25 and it should not be more than 7.
Yeah. So I'm going to write 6.2527. Okay.
Not
That's
more
what
than
we're
that.
saying for the cutoffs. Okay. वर्बल में आ जाते हैं. वर्बल में सर मेरे ख्याल से कट ऑफ अगेन 7 से ज्यादा 7 to 8 के बीच में ही रहेगा. उससे ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए. Because questions were lengthy, they were very time taking.
But the thing is also that कि verbal में the students who actually get into MICA, they are pretty good with English comprehension, they speed.
Yes,
So
yes.
they definitely score better here in VA.
Correct. तो आप बताइए आपको क्या लग रहा है कि कितना होना चाहिए कट ऑफ. इसका? मैं तो फिर भी 8 ही रखना चाहूंगी।
8 ठीक है, मेरे को तो आइडिया नहीं है, कांट रियली कमेंट
मेरे
एनीथिंग।
हिसाब से 8 से ज्यादा नहीं होगा, बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस इतने लेंदी थे सर। अगर और आपको सेक्शनल्स बनाने ही बनाने हैं, आई नो दैट द चिल्ड्रन वांट टू डू बेटर, बट द प्रॉब्लम लाइज इन द फैक्ट दैट द क्वेश्चंस आर वेरी लेंदी. Almost all the questions had 8 options. There were hardly 4 or 5 questions जिसमें 4 options थे. तो वो जो चीज है ना, टाइम का कैसे मैनेज करोगे, तो वो प्रॉब्लम थी यहाँ पे. मतलब मुझे भी प्रॉब्लम हो रही थी, तो आई फील दैट स्टूडेंट्स को भी होगी. All right. So shall we say, so total 7, 8, and 6.5. Yeah.
Yes.
So 7, 8, and 6.5. That's QADI.
5.
That's VA, and that is convergent and divergent thinking.
For general knowledge, it's going to be 4.
4. So that should be somewhere around the cutoffs that we
5.
would assume for this MICAT.
Overall, it's going to be 25. इतना ही बन रहा है?
हाँ सर.
25 बन रहा है?
हाँ जी. 25. हाँ, 25.5 बिल्कुल.
25.5 बन रहा है ना, तो ठीक है. I don't think it should cross this.
हाँ, correct. So overall would be around 25, should not be more than that. Well, guys, here is your our take on the cutoffs and the entire paper of MyCat 2. I hope you guys also agree, and I hope you've done well. Sir, quick announcements भी कर ही देते हैं. All right, guys. So 2 of our upcoming products for you guys. The MBA 2025 test series is already live, so you can also get started. This is going to be closest to the exam center. Also, the PDP is on. So if you are expecting a call from MICA or from any of the other colleges, please don't wait for the last moment for the call to come. If you're expecting, if you feel you've done well, please start right away with the PDP. Get personalized mentorship from the pioneers of PDP. Of course, you know it's been 30 years that CL has been doing the PDP. We just started off with that. So anyway, so that's that. All right. So anything else that you would like to share?
Muskan has the question, will the capital small consider repetition as well? Of course, Muskan, when you have got capital letters, it's capital A to Z, that's 26, 26, 26. Similarly for small letters, and then they can be interchanged with the digits. So you have to consider those cases. So the 6 that you are getting, which it's going to be with capital and digits. So with the small and digits, you will get another similar number of cases. So overall, you are going to get a 12. जितना मेरे को याद आ रहा है, इफ आई विल लुक एट द क्वेश्चन अगेन. आप मैम आपने क्वेश्चंस नहीं लिखे होंगे ना इसके क्वांट के?
नहीं सर, क्वांट के तो नहीं.
चलिए वो मिल जाएगा. आई थिंक विद इन 24 आवर्स विल गेट इट. हाँ. So once I get it, I'll look into it and I will comment in the comment section below. Okay. मेरे को एक बार दिख
If you
जाएगा.
have
I'll
any
look
other
into it.
questions, sorry sir. If you have any other questions, you just put it in the chat box, and yes, we will get Naveen sir to answer those questions.
Okay. और
So I think हमने सारे questions answer कर ही दिए हैं, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Guys, I hope all of you have hit the like button. If you haven't done that till now, please make sure that you do hit the like button. We love the likes and the likes. All right. So बस wrap up करें?
हाँ मैम, चलिए. So any question, please let us know. We will come back to you.
All right. Thank you, guys. I hope this session was good. I hope you've done well in MyCat 2. For any further questions, queries, you can just put it in the chat box. We'll try and answer them up. Do remember to hit the like button. Thank you. I hope this was good. Bye-bye. Oh, I think Naveen sir had dropped out, but... So are you back again?
हाँ, I'm back.
अच्छा, मुझे लगा आप exit ही हो गए थे.
नहीं, वो गलती से ना, I'm on browser phone पे ना. वो
Okay,
बैक
okay. All right.
कर दिया.
So, any more words that you would like to share with our audience? I have said bye bye.
Hmm, नहीं, नथिंग मच. वैलेंटाइंस डे पे मतलब या तो रिजल्ट, मतलब दोनों ही रिजल्ट ही देगा. उस दिन दो रिजल्ट्स आएंगे आपके, काफी लोगों के.
Well, then all I'll say is Happy Valentine's Day. All right. Thank you, guys. I
Okay,
hope you
thank you everyone.
found this session useful. You've been a great audience. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am. चलिए, bye.
Okay, so bye bye.